Morning. I've been meaning to record a podcast, and it's a little bit earlier in the day than I would have preferred, but we run the air when it gets warmer later in the day, and it's really hard to get good audio. And without explaining the technicals, how I record things, whatever, it's a lot of stupid shit. I can record a quick one right now and get away with it. So ADHD, I love to over-explain. So this is, and I'm also double Gemini. So this is why you guys listen to me talk. So today's episode, I'm going to talk about some things that is probably going to make me feel real squirmy on the inside to talk about. I have my raw cacao drink that I make every single morning right here with my gelatin in it. That's my breakfast every day. Every single fucking day. I put a little coffee in it today. I'm probably going to go to the gym after I get this done. And then I'll get to posting it probably way later. So I'll have time to bake on all the things I didn't say correctly. But I post things anyway. I'm highly neurotic, you guys, especially today. I'm about to start my period, in all honesty, and that changes a woman's gray matter in her brain. So I'm going to be this version of myself, raw, uncut, and stupid honest, okay? So my family, there's only so much I can talk about this without destroying HIPAA, you know? So I'm going to do my best with some of this, but my family was all registered nurses, more or less, like for 4 generations. There's one physician in the family, immediate family, and there was a lot of prescriptions use. In the culture of a medical family from, that's been in medicine since the 50s. The 50s and 60s were all about medicating symptoms and not finding, and it's still largely to this day, that's what medicine really does in the system is you treat symptoms. You sort of treat the back end of things and don't really find out what the sources are. I lean more towards, herbalism type thinking, let's get to the root of it and fix it and, etc. So, a lot of you that know me know this about me, but some of you might not yet. Hello. What I do with my body is I take myself to the doctors to get my diagnostics. I know basics about numbers, and what I don't know, I can learn on the spot, and I can understand medical jargon. So I self-regulate. I wouldn't say medicate, but I do self-regulate, and my health is in extremely good state compared to my parents at my age. So I do a really great job, and I have endometriosis. So everything I do, everything I intake in my body a day, everything I think and how I act is all centered about this time of the month for me. So I'm very regimental about making sure that this internal bleeding I experience is not as easy as it could possibly be. So that's why I work out. That's why I eat. I try to reduce inflammation any way I fucking can. So growing up, my family's solution for any sort of pain was to try to give me opiates. And I was having bad periods. I started when I was 12, and immediately they were awful. They were really, really, really bad. And everybody was telling me it was in my head, that it was just a period, that I needed to basically get over it and live like that. And nobody really understood how much pain I was in. So I was gaslit most of the time, anytime I tried to mention it to anybody. I didn't find out, I didn't actually have the diagnostic surgery to diagnose my endometriosis until my mid to late 30s. So I just didn't know exactly what was the issue. Most of my women in my family lean towards PCOS, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Drugs were rampant in my family culture. It was Soma, Xanax, not so much Valium. There was other mood elevators, but then there was the different Vicodins and then Darvocet and all this other shit that was being passed around like candy. My mom would send me over to my grandma's house at night and go grab a couple of Vicodin for me, sweetie. Like, I'm talking 1 or 2 in the morning. I was homeschooled, so she had me staying up at night to do shit. So it's something I want you to understand. I'm not saying this to demonize anybody, because this was just the way everybody thought was the way it worked. However, it's contributed to huge issues in the way my mother and I talk to each other, which is barely. There's huge wounds that will probably never heal because of prescription drug use being an exacerbation. But I was taught to self-medicate. So I was heavy into drug use. I was swallowing whole Xanax bars before I turned 18. When I did turn 18, I got married and moved out of the state to the Midwest, and I was away from my supplier, and I only had her send me meds once in the mail. But I withdrawed. I had to withdraw. And I was glad I was somewhere else. But I was always also a big drinker. I started drinking when I was 16. And I used that. I'm stirring my drink. I used that quite a bit to try to feel normal. Right out the gate, I wasn't drinking for fun. Right out the gate, I was trying to feel like I fit in. I never felt like I fit in with any of the kids that I ever hung out with. I used to do this group called Pathfinders at church, and I would have to drink 20 ounces of caffeine before the Pathfinder meeting in the evening to sort of run on their frequency. Otherwise, I was talking to the seniors, the old folks, and really not hanging out with the kids my own age. So I've always felt like I've had to use something in order to be acceptable to other people, to be performative and earn attention. I'm in the middle of working on deprogramming this. That's why I speak on divine feminine embodiment so much, because this is a huge part of my journey right now. And if you want to make the most change you possibly can in this world, you have to start with yourself. You have to start with yourself and your daily habits. So, it's up to you guys to understand. My new listeners, my people that have been with me for a while, you don't know certain shit because I haven't talked about it because I'm a 12th houser. Like, my 12th house moon shit is really difficult to speak on because it's unresolved. And once people die, I will have a lot more freedom to talk about things. But the types of stuff my mother has done would cause a lot of you to blanch. But it would make you understand that I know where there is no mud, there is no lotus. You have to grow in your roots in the mud sometimes in order to be a beautiful thing in this world. So, I was raised to Johnny Jetpack right out of my body. Like, and evacuate and abandon myself every time I had a pain, a physical pain or an emotional pain. And I'm still unlearning that, but I am so much better at it as of right now. I lost the taste for alcohol. I'm good. And I told you about, when I went on vacation and had some alcohol, and I just did not like the taste. I'm really happy about that. But overall, my body, my physical, spiritual connection has improved so much with being at the gym. And I know there's a lot of gripes about, I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself, or I'm afraid of how I look. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. But your fears are in no consequence to the amount of positivity you will ever get from going to the gym for your mental health. And being able to have a certain sense of agency of your wellness that you will not get in a doctor's office. You have a severe amount of power for how the quality of your life is. And knowing, once you finally get a feeling for how much power you have, it changes how you want to feel your emotions. It changes how you want to relate to yourself. It changes how you look at yourself in the mirror. It changes how other people treat you. So it goes all the way down. It changes literally everything, but it's one baby step at a time, one healthy food swap at a time. It's a long process. I've almost been working out for 10 years now. I started in 2018 when I got into physical therapy because I needed to be trained how to move safely. I was there for 3 years, 2 days a week, sometimes 3. And I started needing pain pills less and less and less. And by that, I mean over-the-counters. I don't even take over-the-counter medicine anymore. Sometimes I'll take kratom for my cramps or a really bad migraine. But largely, I do not suffer like I used to. I used to be so incapacitated. And here's the thing. A lot of the issues in my family are cardiovascular, and I don't have cardiovascular issues at all. So I've reversed family curses as I stand right now. My endurance is amazing. I used to work at this gym that was 10,000 square feet. I was told it was 10,000 square feet. And I would have to vacuum and then mop that place. And then clean all the other surfaces and take care of laundry and any odd jobs, so it was a lot of square footage to cover, really. And that was one of the hardest physical jobs I've ever had, but it helped me really up my endurance. I know what I'm capable of now. And I was working out sometimes 2 or 3 times a day on top of that job. So now my health is amazing compared to my 20s. So, this is a little dancing around on these topics because I just don't feel like I have time to get too deeply in depth here. But pain is a deterrent. Pain is a factor. Pain is something that a lot of people are afraid of. But I want to sit here and stress that there's lots of different kinds of pain. You can change the way you look at pain too. Your relationship to pain will change if you embrace positive pain, positive change. Learn the difference between life-threatening pain and growing pains. It's important to know the difference. Otherwise, you're going to start to feel like you're being punished all the time. And you're not. You're just being asked to grow. That's part of what a Saturn return is. If you're pre-Saturn return or post, you already know what I'm talking about. But it's imperative that your relationship to suffering or changes entirely. You get to choose your doom. That's what true freedom is to be free to choose your doom. So I guess this podcast is a little bit about that. I talk about that a lot, but when it comes to pain, the emotional pain is worse. The emotional pain is the worst to really process and get past and learn how to evolve through. That's the hardest. I'd rather deal with that any day. Like, I had E. coli once, and I went to the hospital. I was there for 5 days. I almost died. I would rather experience that level of food poisoning again before I would ever want my heart broken like the last heartbreak I had. The last heartbreak I had is still so strong in my blood. So strong in my blood. And I am so compassionate to myself for having feelings that deep. I'm proud of myself for being such a deep person that it touched me to my soul at that level. That means I'm not broken. My heart did break, though. I am so glad, though, to be alive and have these experiences and have connections with people all the same. And I won't quit trying. I won't quit relating to people. I won't quit reaching out and being a minister and being a healer and being a tarot reader and being someone who can embrace others in their worst states and understand where they're coming from. I've been there too. We can get through this together. I'm right there with you. So if you're in pain, experiencing excruciating changes, I want you to know I'm here for you. So I hope you subscribe. I have a Substack. It's Suigenerisregenerate. My Instagram is also Suigenerisregenerate. I have that name attached to my podcast as well. But I'm reaching out. I am here. I'm one of you. I've been through the pain of knowing that my mother didn't love me and medicating that with pain killers, massive painkillers. I dyed my hair. I was trying to remember the name of the brand, but it doesn't matter. It was a cotton candy pink and atomic something. Anyway, I dyed my hair that color because I wanted it to match Darvocet, the drug that I was obsessed with at the time. Like, I'm telling you, I was going down that road. I was running away from my pain in every single possible way. Distractions, people. I tried to get hypersexual for a minute and then I caught myself. Excuse me. We have a lot of wildfires around here right now. I'm going to get going though. I love you guys. This podcast is from my soul, real raw. Maintaining velocity means you change the energy around you by making your choices and sticking with them. This is the truth of what I'm all pulled up here to sit down and talk about every single time I open my mouth on any of my social media channels. We're all here and we can do goddamn better. I love you guys. Let's fucking get it.